we have come to life, and that is the infinite source. And from that source you came, you are here, you go back to the source. And that is the purpose of life, and that needs to be understood. So the trident is expressly shown as one of the weapons which he is speaking to remind us to see that you came here, you are here, you will go back. So make some effort to get into the calm state. And then when she has she has the shield, parijat, and sword and shield. The sword indicates the instrument for chopping things. And it's not chopping somebody's head, it is just chopping the influences that comes from within to drive you off track from the goal. If some passion comes and which is trying to detour you from the normal track, certainly that needs to be understood, observed, understood, and then you apply your will. This sword is the sword of will. Apply your will and chop it off from the very beginning itself, so it will not grow into a very big thing and then derail you from your source, your direction. And then the parijat, which is the shield. First you try to protect yourself. If there is something is coming from within, you have to immediately see. And so this shield represents the shield of observation. If you are not an observant, certainly you will not know what is happening from within. So it is indicating that observation is your shield. So as soon as something happens, you focus your attention to understand what is happening within. Everything is within. You have to really look and observe and understand what is happening within. If you continue observing, certainly that instinct or that push that comes from within will slow down. But if it is not slowing down, still you are pushed by some strong push from within. Certainly you have to apply your soul and chop it off so that you can be free. You will not get into further troubles. These are ideas. And these are represented by the mother Dalkini. Then Bala Brahma, on the right side of the platform, which is of the yantra. The platform is the yantra part of the chakra. Yantra is the device where all the tools are shown, how to get out of your problems. And there Bala Brahman has 4 heads, and each head is looking to each direction. So you have the possibility to really look all corners, all possibilities which is coming to you. But if you are not an observer, you will not see. So be alert and vigilant to see what is invading you, what is coming to derail you or to push you out of your focus of your spiritual quest or whatever for your higher development. That needs to be observed immediately, and that possibility is there. And these 4 heads of the Bala Brahman also represents the 4 facets of the personality of the person. And here the petals are representing the individual self, the rational self, the emotional self, the individual self, the social self, the rational self, and emotional self. And when it comes to Bala Brahma, there is a slight change. One more step they have added. That is, one more step is the individual self, then the social self, and taken away the rational self, emotional self, and spiritual self. The masculine side represents the consciousness to go to the root of it. The root from where we came. The root from where every creation happened is the silence, which is the ultimate. The stillness from where everything came into being, and then it is your home, you are trying to go there. On the way, there are some obstacles or problems, obstructions can happen. That needs to be understood by proper observation, observing in all directions to see what is going to attack you or to derail you from the path. And that is represented by the foreheads. And then there is on the left upper hand, he is keeping a lotus flower. Lotus is the symbol of purity. The simple reason is lotus is growing in muddy ponds, and the bottom there will be really dark and mud, and then from that the lotus grows and it comes to the water, it gets purified. It takes a long time, and finally it comes over the water and washed off and clean, and then it opens up. The lotus flower is representing purity because of this light. And when it is opening, it is highly light sensitive, so it is looking for light. It is the symbol of purity that leads you to enlightenment, and that is upheld by the deity Balabrahma. And then by that kind of a purity, you will understand what is knowledge, pure knowledge. The pure knowledge which is giving redemption for a person is considered as Vedas or scriptures. All religions have this kind of scriptures, and so by your purity you will get to know what is there in the scriptures. All the scriptures are trying to make you understand that there is a possibility for you to become free and establish your root or your oneness with the ultimate consciousness. And that is represented by the scroll of Vedas, which is kept. Veda means knowledge, and that is kept. And by purity alone you will understand in the proper way. Otherwise you can take it into some ritualistic way, but you will not get into the spirit of it. But if you want, you can certainly through your rituals can get into the root of it also. But it is so important for a person to understand what is knowledge, pure knowledge. Vedas are considered as pure knowledge. And then pure knowledge. And then comes the right hand of Bala Brahman is holding Amrita, a bottle of Amrita, commentary, and that is filled with the nectar of immortality. Amrita, if you get Amrita, you will become immortal. And so this Amrita is the knowledge which you have really understood, and the knowledge becomes wisdom when you try to practice it, and that itself is the Amrita with which you can transform your whole life from the pragmatic material attachment to the spiritual sense of your growth. And that is represented by the Amrita. This has another scheme which is the alchemic transformation technique. And the laddu which is kept by Lord Ganesh in this chakra is also an alchemic symbol, and also the Amrita which is there is also an alchemic symbol. So by knowledge you get into the alchemy of transformation. Alchemy is the science of transformation from body into light. So you get that transforming principle, and you try to transform your body by consuming this knowledge which is the Amrita, which is there, and then you can be transformed. If a person who understands all these things will have all the blessings for the journey, which is shown by the blessing hand.
Body is transformed into light.
That is one of the things, but it also in this it also indicates the possibility of spiritual transformation by resorting to alchemy.
Body turns into light.
Body
becomes light body.
അതിന് രണ്ടർത്ഥമുണ്ട്. One of the thing is light of knowledge, one. The other is believed by alchemists or people who believe alchemy, they consider that when you take the alchemic transform route and you transform your body with alchemic drugs, certainly you will be shining like light and you attract people. And so that is the reason why those sects, there are many sects. In all the sects, they cover their body completely and only their face will be shown. And also there are avadudas, people like avadudas who transform their body by alchemic drugs. They also cover their body with dirty things so that the light cannot come out. And so this, in both the ways, it is, not both the ways, they try to hint both these things. With the alchemic transformation as well as by knowledge and wisdom, you spark like holy light. These are the things. And then the four petals which I have mentioned, also this is the sum of the root chakra, base chakra, Mula, Adhara chakra. Mula means root, Adhara means foundation, and this is our base. So at the base we have everything for our further growth. And if you resort to that and properly understand and transform our life, certainly there is a possibility. But it is not that easy because it is suggesting a big work for transformation. And then we have to explore ourselves where we are. Without exploring ourselves, we will not know who we are. So Kundalini Yoga is a schematic system. It's a very, in that way, it is a scientific system whereby they are starting from the root. In the and Kundalini has two parts. One is the yogic part of Kundalini, the other is the tantric part of Kundalini. So both are there.
Do Patanjali agree with these symbols?
We have to ask to Patanjali.
Because those people with the
No, this is the people.
The symbolism.
The symbolism is to...
More complicated or simple?
No, the symbolism is to portray the knowledge in a very simple way. If you understand the picture, keep the picture in your mind, then you can interpret everything. So there is no deity like that. Don't go and believe that there are deities inside your perineum. And this is a wrong idea that deities are there in your perineum. In your Mooladhara, there is all these principles are there. These principles are depicted in forms. This is an ancient way of portraying. It's a tantric way of portraying. So if you rely that this is an elephant is there, Ganesh is there, Dagini is there, Bala Brahman is there, and then you worship Bala Brahman, and of course you get some concentration, you start to hallucinate yourself that feeling, and you feel that the blessing is there for you. That gives you confidence, you can go. But in the yogic part of Kundalini, you are exploring and with inner inquiry, using all the symbols, what it wants to say to you. And then you explore yourself. Then you see, in the base chakra, we see the stubbornness which we have with regard to food. And our attachment with bodily pleasures and comforts. It's all shown by these pictures. So instead of going into the format of it, go into the depth of it and the content of it, and then certainly you will understand what it is, then you can work. The yogic management of this is this kind of work. Tantric thing is just putting, it's not just, it's a big work. You are putting your whole mind into it, and then you get rid of all these things by surrendering all these things to the deity. So this is two different approaches. In Kundalini Yoga, we have the tantric system, we have the yogic system, we have the Shaivite system, and then the Shaktaya tradition. Then when you come to the second chakra, you get into the Vaishnavite system. So it is an amalgamation of all the existing systems, and they have created this forms and this moment for us to understand what we have to do for our transformation. So if you take that these are deity and then with all these things, and that will be a little wrong conception. And so that is not the idea. We are presenting this in this way. This is a very nice picture. And if you really keep this picture inside, you can decode the system very easily. If you rely upon the figures and feel that the Balabrahma is there, of course it's a different route. You offer everything that you have and offer for the help of the deity, and the deity will come and take you to
It is like worshipping a guru, getting attached to his form and
yeah, it is. After some time it becomes a reality. If you worship anything, it becomes a reality for you. Wherever you turn, you will see these deities. Because it's a protection that your mind is good. And then you are already established a deep what you call concentration, and that is slowly moving towards the yogic side. And so this system is very good because they have taken the portrayal way based on the tantric system. And then you hold it inside, this idea. Then you can, even if you wanted to teach also, you, by remembering all these things, you can communicate a lot of things by a small picture. Through a small picture. So that is it. Then you have seen in the middle core of the chakra there is a downward pointing triangle. This is the downward pointing triangle, and this downward pointing this triangle represents Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. Ida is the left side of the triangle and the right side of the triangle is Pingala, and the top side of the triangle, downward pointing triangle, is Sushumna. These are the major channels. See, from there we are slowly moving towards the yogic side. At the core you can see the yogic ideas. And the left side is emotional. Ida is emotional and mental in nature. Pingala is rational and vital in nature. And then Sushumna is the balancing current. And that is very, very important. In practice, like in the morning when we were doing practice and Vivek has to close the nostril, and because sometimes we get some kind of allergy or maybe some kind of getting stuck somewhere. Depending upon whether we are emotional or rational, our nostrils goes on changing. If you are very rationally working with your brain, certainly at that time your right nostril will be active. If you are emotional, your left nostril will be active. And so you need a balancing position to go deeper, because in balancing position you become very peaceful. And that peace is essential for your further exploration. And so that is why if your left nostril is more active, you are emotional, right nostril rational. And if you are balanced in your breathing, both the nostrils are evenly active, certainly you are in a balanced position. And then it is a fit time for you to enter into meditation because you are already balanced. When you are balanced, then you can go get into the core of it, and there you see there is the seed of consciousness. Unless you are balanced, you will not get into the core, because your mind is really shattered with so many things which is going on, thinking, rationalizing, all those things. And if you are balanced, that means calm, your both nostrils are on, you're calm, and that's the time you can go deep and see. Then you see the seed of the soul. Because you are balanced, your mind is not unnecessarily creating any thoughts, and then you get the glimpse of the silence which is there within. And that is the seed of consciousness represented as a lingam. So this is called the Atma Lingam, the seed of the soul. The seed of the soul is the ultimate stillness. And the Muladhara Chakra, it is there, but we are more concerned about pragmatic things, materialistic things, concerned about the body, bodily pleasures and comforts, and thereby our mind will be always fluctuating and moving, that you will not be able to know who you are. Deep inside you are the silence embodied, but you have the glimpse of it, but you are not staying there long time. That is represented by the seed structure. It is like a small seed. And the seed of consciousness, which is Atmalingam, is covered with it twisted around a snake, a cobra, a poisonous serpent is encircling the seed of consciousness, which is the Atmalingam, into 3.5 rounds, and the tail is dropping down, and the foot of the serpent is turning down and sucking its own tail and sleeping. And sucking one's own tail and sleeping is the symbol of sheer ignorance. And we are not interested in going deeper into our own possibilities, but still it doesn't say that you don't have the seed inside. You have the seed of consciousness, which is the stillness, the calmness is inside, that if you look, it will grow. If you don't look, other things will grow. And then other things will give a lot of pain and pleasure. And that you rely upon that pain and pleasure and start to live a life that is living in ignorance. That is indicated by the serpent who is sleeping, sucking and chewing and sleeping his own tail and sleeping. This is the sheer ignorance of the awareness of the normal existence.
Why 3.5 rounds?
And because it is the kunda, the 3 rounds represents the creation, existence and withdrawal. But there is another possibility which is left, which is going beyond. And then practically this is having another idea. The square which is there in the base as the rectangle, rectangle, which has 4 sides. And the serpent which is there inside is indicating how to unleash or how to get rid of the closed nature. So when you do the Bija mantra, I will take it. When we do the Bija mantra, which is Lam, the sound Lam, when you are doing, your tongue is touching the front side of the upper palate, it drops down, one side is covered, then it withdraws Lam, withdraws the second side, then it ascends the third side, then it comes forward and ascends to the top. Thereby the 4th closure is untied, and then the head is going towards the top. So this serpent is indicated by the awareness of the person in the first chakra trying to loosen himself to get into the higher realms. And that is why it is not 4, it is 3.5. One side is the closed nature is really crossed, and then it is ascending. So I was saying without breath, because this we have discussed in detail 2 days, and now I summed it up. And then from this, the person is ascending to the further development. And see this one, this is Sushumna, the channel of Sushumna is like that. So the awareness at the base of the Sushumna, which is perineum. Perineum is not directly linked with the spine, and then it is moving towards the spine. Spine is considered as the channel of awareness. Sushumna is the channel of awareness. So the person gets into the channel of awareness, means he is growing his awareness, and it goes up like this, because he is confirming that all the things which are said here is working, and then he is growing from the stubbornness to generosity, innocence, then the possessivity which the person has is now going away. The jealousy that was there is not anymore there. And so slowly the person is growing into more better ways towards the fulfillment of his realization. So he is growing and he is entering into the second chakra. The second chakra is Swādhiṣṭhāna Chakra.
ഈ ഗ്രോപ്പിന്റെ ഇടയിൽ സെക്കൻഡ് ചക്രയിൽ എത്തുന്ന ആൾക്ക് ഇതിന്റെ ക്രൈസിസ് ഒക്കെ കാണില്ലേ?
കാണുന്നില്ല. നമ്മൾ വർക്ക് ചെയ്തു, കുറേ മനസ്സിലായി, ഹയർ പ്ലാനിലോട്ട് കടക്കും. And by living, if we live properly, we don't need any practice. Because you are living as if you are properly grown up by the family, having great awareness. Certainly, by living, you will cross the first chakra. When you living means the early childhood, when it is gone, the first chakra is understood.
ഈ ലം എന്ന് പറയുന്നതാണല്ലോ ഇതിന്റെ sound.
Beatable.
അത് chant ചെയ്താൽ ചക്രം ഉണരും.
ഉണ്ട്. അത് പ്രാക്ടീസ് ഇല്ല. നമുക്ക് കുറച്ച് പ്രാക്ടീസ് നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാം. ഇതെല്ലാം ചെയ്ത് തീർന്നിട്ട് ചെയ്യാം. കുറച്ച് പ്രാക്ടീസ് നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാം.
അതിന്റെ സംസ്കൃത വാക്കാണ് ലം അല്ലേ?
അതെ. അതാണ് അതിൻ്റെ അത് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് റിട്ടൺ ഇൻ ഗോൾഡൻ ലെറ്റർ. Now it is brown.
നേരെ ചൊവ്വേ പറയാണ്ട് വളച്ചിട്ടിങ്ങനെയാണ് പറയുന്നത്.
നേരെ
അല്ല, ഹിന്ദു സിസ്റ്റംസിലെ
അത് ഇതിങ്ങനെ വളച്ചാലേ ഇതിങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നു. അവരൊരു കോഡർ ലാംഗ്വേജ് ആണ്. നമുക്ക് ഡീകോഡ് ചെയ്യണം. വി ഹാവ് ടു ഡീകോഡ്. അപ്പോൾ അതിനകത്തൊരു ചെറിയൊരു സീക്രസി ഉണ്ട്. അറിയാൻ മതി, അറിയാതെ നടക്കുന്നത് അങ്ങനെ വേറെ പോകട്ടെ. അറിയുന്നതിന് അറിയാൻ പോലെ, അറിയുന്നത് എങ്ങനെയും പോയി പിടിക്കും. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആരെങ്കിലും ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരാൾക്ക് അത് പാകപ്പെട്ടില്ലെങ്കിൽ, if a person is not ready, he will not be in a receptive mode. But I know many people, my friends here. And when I start, they immediately say that you are talking some madness. Oh, Santhi started his madness. Even at young age, they are saying this. When we were all moving, when I start to speak something, they say, Santhi started. That means Santhi started the madness. But this is fun, actually very fun. But they listen. They want to listen, but they say this as a joke.
കിർലിയൻ ഫോട്ടോഗ്രാഫി കിർലിയൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഫോട്ടോഗ്രാഫി കുറേ മന്ത്രം ചൊല്ലിട്ട് ചാൻഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഗവൺമെൻറ്റ്സ് ഫീൽ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, എന്തൊക്കെ പരീക്ഷണം